One of the worst things about a breakup is that you're constantly thinking about your ex. If this is something that you're struggling with after your breakup, watching this video is going to make a huge difference. Hello and welcome. My name is Heather. I'm a registered professional counselor and a certified life coach. And I help people get through difficult breakups that are keeping them stuck from living their fullest lives. Today, I'm going to share with you effective steps that you can take right now to help you stop or reduce the amount of thoughts you have about your ex. Let's dive in. The first step is to take them off the pedestal. Your happiness in your brain right now is connected to this person. You have to allow time for your brain to disconnect and rewire, and you can help facilitate this disconnection. As I've mentioned in my previous videos, your ex has come to live in the limbic center of your brain, which is your brain's emotional centers. And they are actually wired in to these neural pathways, and your brain is used to seeing them and having them around and having them to talk to every day. But what has also happened is that your brain has connected this person to this sense or this feeling of happiness. You have to give yourself the time so your brain can disconnect this wiring. And that is why having a no contact rule after the breakup is crucial. So you don't want to be texting them or searching them up on Facebook or looking at their pictures on Instagram, because it's still allowing your brain to trick itself into thinking that you are still in a relationship with this person. And it's harder for you to be able to disconnect from them. So give yourself around 45 or more days to not have any contact with them and to not look them up on social media. This will hopefully give yourself enough time to fully disconnect from them. Again, it's going to be different for every person, but the longer the better. The second thing you'd want to do is rewrite your story. Are you telling yourself that your ex was the love of your life, or that they were your soulmates? Are you also telling yourself that you're never going to find anyone else, or that you'll never be in a happy relationship? What are you telling yourself right now that is holding you back and keeping you stuck? How can you change this story? And what is a more empowering narrative that you can tell yourself? A lot of the times, people don't realize that our thoughts matter. What we tell ourselves matters and makes a difference in our moods and our own beliefs about ourselves. So, what can you tell yourself? You should be telling yourself that you will find love again. If you found love once, you will find it again. There's a lot of other compatible partners for you, and that you'll find the right person for you when you're ready. Changing the way that you talk to yourself or changing the story about the relationship can make a huge difference in your breakup recovery process, and it can help prevent you from experiencing complicated grief. Because if you're stuck telling yourself that you've lost the love of your life and that you're never going to find love again, you keep yourself stuck into this breakup and this relationship. And not only that, you start to erode your self-worth and your self-esteem because you're placing that and your happiness on to your ex and that relationship. So think about the narrative and the story that you're telling yourself about your ex, and how can you change that into something that is more empowering and into something that serves you. The third step is to check your rumination. Rumination is when you have constant thoughts about your ex and your relationship. Your brain is basically trying to find all the answers to your breakup and to try to find out what went wrong or what you did or say that led to the breakup. And it can also try to focus on what can't be fixed. When people can't find a clear answer, they tend to blame themselves and believe in the negative self-beliefs to help explain why this relationship didn't work out. If you do know why the relationship didn't work out and why you broke up, it's really easy to get stuck on the idea that you need to get back together with your ex, or that you need to start fixating on a plan to fix what led to the breakup in order to get your ex back, even if your ex doesn't want to get back together. If this is the case, a lot of the times people get stuck on this. I like to call it the monkey mind, where it's constantly trying to find answers and solutions, so they focus their time and mental energy on getting their ex back. Sometimes this can bring comfort to this idea of getting back together with someone, because it could be too scary to think about a future without them. People tend to be uncomfortable of the unknown, and by moving on from this ex and moving forward, it can create a lot of feelings of anxiety in a person. And that's why when sometimes people are vulnerable, they turn to these tactics in order to get their ex back. This can be quite harmful and destructive because when people don't give themselves the opportunity to properly grieve a relationship, they get stuck on this idea or fantasy that might not come true, instead of accepting the reality of things and moving forward in their lives. So this is not to say that getting back together with your ex is impossible or that it's a bad idea. I mean, I got back together with my ex and now we're married. But it took a lot of time and work for the both of us. If you're wondering if you should get back together with your ex, check out my other video that walks you through the important questions to see if this is even a possibility. Now, the next thing that you'll have to do is give yourself permission to let your ex go and give yourself permission to move on in your life. This can help stop the rumination and the monkey mind that's trying to come up with all the different ways of trying to get your ex back. Now, ultimately, I want to say that it's normal to miss or to think about your ex sometimes. Maybe a movie comes on that you watch together, or you pass by a restaurant that you used to go to often. It's not realistic to never think about your ex again, but it's that energy behind the thought that you need to be mindful about. So don't squash down your feelings, but just notice how you're feeling, experience it, and let it go. You don't need to investigate or think deeply about these feelings. Just be curious and let it flow. You don't have to try to figure out why you're thinking about your ex. I also have a free guidebook to help you through this difficult time called The Ultimate Breakup Guide, which you can download below in the description. Question of the day. Which step did you find the most helpful for you? Comment below. Next week, I'm going to be talking about the secrets behind being happily single. This video has a lot of practical advice to help you start your next chapter on your own terms. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell to get notified for the next video. This is going to be really informative and you don't want to miss it. If you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe to my channel and like this video. If you want to learn more about how to heal from your breakup, make sure you check out my previous videos. I look forward to seeing you next week. Until then, be kind and love yourself.